Over to Kelly.
And what a year it has been so far. It has been a snowy and rainy start to the year on the West Coast, among the top 10 wettest Januaries to date for some cities. Not to mention, of course, the massive snow reports we're getting from the Sierra. When a big state like California sees this kind of wild weather, it can have an economic impact felt all across the globe. Our business analyst and meteorologist Paul Walsh joins us now to explain why that is. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Kelly.
So why is California's weather so important to the overall economy?
Well, California is not only the largest economy in the United States, it's actually the sixth largest economy in the entire world. So think about the massive agriculture business that feeds people all around the world, the big manufacturing business, technology, real estate, you name it. It's just a massive economic engine. And Kelly, all of that really sits on a fuel that is powered by water. And so they need this kind of rain to actually get that economy up and moving and running.
Yeah, we're looking at some of those crops right now, some of my favorites, almonds, walnuts, strawberries, avocados. So what are the impacts that we're seeing so far with the weather makers we're seeing out there?
Well, typically there's always two impacts from these kind of storms. The first part of it is generally negative, and that's because of the fact that because it's raining, we're seeing, in this case, tragically, mudslides and losses, which relate back to insurance losses. There's what we call business interruption. Of course, people in California, where it doesn't rain much, rain almost acts like snow in terms of keeping people home. So there's immediate economic impacts in terms of retail and restaurants. And then finally, there's also the impact just on health and safety and people being injured more and having to go to the hospital. But on the second piece of this, which is really more important, is that there's very strong positive impacts. Of course, you just mentioned the snowpack. That's really a frozen reservoir that feeds that economic engine all the way through the summer where it typically doesn't rain. And we haven't had a lot of snow. So all of those things together point to a really big positive impact from this weather that we're seeing in California.
Obviously, the ski resort's doing very well, but otherwise, which businesses are really benefiting from this weather?
Well, you're right. The ski resorts, although there have been some negative impacts because it's snowed too much, actually, which seems hard to believe. I actually reached out to a friend of mine who's the chief winemaker from a really great winery in Northern California called Hall and Pat's, a guy named James Hall. And he told me, and let me quote what he told me. He said, so far, the 2017 vintage is getting off to a great start. Plenty of water and lots of cold nights, just what the doctor ordered, and I quote. So we're looking at great weather as it relates to skiing, and importantly, another great vintage coming out of California.
I love skiing, and I love wine, too. All right, Paul, you just made my day. Thank you so much. Good to see you this morning. And still ahead on AMHQ Weekend, while the Great Lakes are getting